My fellow countrymen, youths, people of the 8th District, and to everyone gathered here, good evening. Good evening. The flags are flying high and the election table is set. So who is going to represent us, the people of the 8th District, at the polls on election day, June 8th? I stand before you tonight to present to you a young stalwart, a man who has confidence in himself, a man who believes in his people, a man who has shown us courage by taking on experienced heavyweight representative of 8th District in the 2011 election. A man who took us to a stunning victory on the National Democratic Party ticket and effectively represented us for the past 3.5 years. My people, this humble young man walks among us. He laughs with us, he cries with us, he feels our pain. He rejoices with our triumphs and he sympathizes with our failures. My people, fellow youths, the future generation of the 8th District, I speak of no other than my cousin, your political champion, the defender of 8th District, Marlon Penn. Marlon Penn associates with everyone in his district, from Hope Hill to Beef Island. He supports those who need his assistance, from our community funerals to our weddings, to the party on the block with the youths, to the elderly who need a ride to the clinic or the community center. He socializes with people from all the levels. Marlon mingles with the ordinary folks and he accomplishes extraordinary things. After Marlon's victories at the poll, he proved that he is not a novice as some had thought, but he unleashed community projects after projects, improving the face of the 8th District and the quality of life. Not only his supporters, but for all of the people in our district. Marlon showed incredible judgment by not only understanding the problem and the issues of his people in his district, but he demonstrated practical ways for solving the issues. He made promises and he delivered. Our political giant Marlon is the grandchild of the late Missile Samper, the late Henry Valak, the late Flossie Penn, and Mr. Obel Penn, better known as 16, who is one of the patriarchs of this, our community. On May 14, 1977, Marlon was born to Miss Magda Valak and Ephraim Penn of East End. Marlon is the first of 7 older siblings, and like the regular East End family, Marlon knows firsthand the meaning of hard work, responsibility, sacrifice, and leadership. Something as a father he instills in his 9-year-old son Jamal. You see, Marlon believed in leading by example. At a very tender age, Marlon was taught what it meant to share and the importance of sharing. This has guided his generosity in helping his people of the 8th District, a quality which has made him a shoulder above the others. Marlon's formal education began right here in the 8th District at Major Bay at the Willard Whitley Primary School. He continued his secondary education at the BVI High School, now the Elmore South High School, where he majored in woodwork. From 1995 to 2001, he worked with the government of the Virgin Islands in the capacity as a computer technician at the Information System Unit and a system analyst for the BVI Financial Service Commission. However, Marlon, being the determined young man who he is, was desirous for reaching his fullest potential. So after receiving a government scholarship in 2001, he attended Temple University in Philadelphia, USA. He graduated with a bachelor's degree in business administration with a concentration in management information systems. He returned home and served in his information technology manager for the BVI Financial Service Commission with the government of the British Virgin Islands. However, he believed that he could serve his country better as our 8th District representative, and serve he did. Marlon, a regular young man on the Eastern Bloc, began to work. He motivated and inspired. He offered hope for his people of the 8th District. The district now has a new voice under new leadership. We showed confidence in him, and he showed what true representation means for this district. No other district representative in history can chronicle what Marlon Penn has done for our district in 3.5 years journey. Do you want to change that? Marlon carried us swiftly over a rugged and long path towards change and improvement. In a district where progress came to halt years ago, Marlon breathed a life into our community. My youths, my people, look around you. Marlon's leadership qualities are evident everywhere. His action heralds his words. My people, just to name a few, Marlon completed the Greenland field. Isn't that commitment? Yes. He rebuilt Willow Whitley Primary School staff room. Isn't that growth? Yes. Do you think Marlon was only thinking of this election? He was thinking about empowering the next generation and building on the legacy left by our founding fathers from people like Mr. Willow Whitley himself. This man I am about to introduce to you, the young man sitting behind of me, Marlon Penn, delivered what he promised. My people, see the fisherman wharf at Red Bedok. This is an advancement. Yes. With only 3.5 years in office, even his opponents are left with no other choice but to say truly, Marlon has done in the 8th district more projects than all of them put together over a 20-year period. My fellow Virgin Islanders, young people, voters and non-voters alike, join me by either putting your hands together or standing or blowing your horns and give a resounding welcome as I present to you my representative, your representative, our district representative, political hero of District 8, a common person who accomplished remarkable things for his district. In his own words, whether or not you vote for me, we are in this district together. Everybody have to eat. Today I give you a man of justice, a man of commitment, a man of integrity, a man of compassion, Marlon Penn.
They can't keep a good man down, always keep a smile when they won't sleep to frown. Keep the vibes and nice to the mind rounds. They will never ever take my crown. In the place I say no man goes. Things getting better when they thought it would be worse. Here comes the officers asking for the search. They found no weapon, just only a curse. But I'm so sad he does us off. They just can't stop me now. Even when they set their traps, they just can't stop me now. People who say this and that, they just can't stop me now. Even when they set up roadblocks, they just can't stop me now.
Good evening, District 8. Beautiful sight here this evening. I want to firstly thank Carrie Ann Penn for being so gracious with her words. I believe if I was you when I heard that speech, I would have voted for that person as well. I also want to recognize my humble and powerful leader, the Honorable Premier, Dr. D. Orlando Smith. I also want to recognize my action team behind of me, starting with Archibald Christian. I think after Archie's speech, all I could say is amen. It was very powerful tonight. Honorable Ronnie W. Skelton, a man who I've grown to respect and have great admiration for. Ronnie and I sit together in a caucus that you heard Archie say, and we always get into it. But it's a battle of the minds, and he's taught me a lot and has pushed me forward to be the best man I could be. I want to thank you, Ronnie. My good friend before politics, the man that makes a lot of sense. My boy, Honorable Myron B. Warwin. Tonight is my time, so you have to bear with me. I'm going to take my time tonight. And I also want to recognize The new brothers and the brothers and sister on the block. My boy from the second. We're making a switch this year. I passed the second, but I have to go back to the lady in the first. Mashana Smith, my personal friend and one of the most brilliant minds this territory I've ever seen. We're going to elect her in the first district. The member for the 6th, the conscience of the 6th district. Alva Maduro Kings. The member for the 4th, the action man. Hello, where's the action man? And the member for the 6th, one of our sisters from the East Island community, Dolores Christopher. We gotta support Dolores Christopher. The man for the 9th, it is your time, Bertie. Welcome to the 8th district, Bertie, my neighbor. And a man that's dear to me. Not only my neighbor in the 7th district, we're blood.
That's right.
My cousin Kevin Pickwick, my mentor who has pushed me to do great things. A lot of what you've seen done in this district is because of the relationship that Kedrick and I have in the 7th and 8th district. We work together as a team.
That's right.
It's not about me in the 8th district and him in the 7th and who's in charge and who's not in charge. When you work as a team, you work together. You don't get involved in those frivolous discussions about who running this and who running that. Team members work together. And that is what we've done in the 7th and 8th district, and you see the results of teamwork. I, however, did prepare a speech. And I think I'll go through that speech. I think I actually touched most of the things that I wanted to touch, but it's important for repetition because there's some talk going around in this district. We'll address that tonight. But before I begin though, it's important for me to recognize the people that have been behind me through this journey for the past 3.5 years. I would like to recognize my family and my friends who are here supporting me tonight. And the patriarch of the Penn family, my grandfather, Obel Penn, who's over there listening to us here tonight. My mother, Magda Valak Ford, who's always been my rock and my support. My dad, Ephraim Penn, he's more than a dad to me. He's my personal friend. I think one of my best friends I have. And I want to recognize my father here tonight. And my stepfather, Hewlett Ford, who's always been there for me and been a rock for me throughout my life. As well as my many siblings. I have 8 of them. So you know, I come from a big family. I understand the importance of taking care of the family and sharing. And that is why I'm here today to represent you in this territory. I also want to recognize Joy, my 2 J's, Joy and Jamar, who are here tonight supporting me. Politics is a rough road. You need somebody to keep you grounded and keep your ego in check. My son certainly does that. He busts my bubble whenever he needs to. Residents, before I move on, I cannot go without recognizing my hard-working committee. A team of selfless, dedicated, community-minded individuals who work tirelessly, not thinking about contracts and this and that and the other, like you hear in all these other committees. They care about the community and have pushed me to do the best I can for this community. I need to recognize them. And lastly, and by no means least, I need to recognize you, the people of District 8. Residents and voters of District 8, just over 3.5 years ago, I came before you as a diamond in the rough, beaming with hope, promise, and untapped potential. I'd offered you a new kind of leadership. Leadership that listens, responds, and delivers. District 8, you answered that call I made some 3.5 years ago to give you the leadership you deserve. Leadership that would not just make promises, but leadership that would deliver on those promises. District 8, you took a chance on me. Now, 3.5 years later, your diamond in the rough is well polished. And District 8, our district, is shining for the rest of the Virgin Islands and the world to see. So tonight, I stand humbly before you once again, reaffirming my commitment and the commitment of the entire NDP team as I ask you for your continued support. Tonight, I report on the promises we made and delivered for this community some 3.5 years ago, and I will outline our plans for continued progress in the Third House of Assembly. Prior to taking office after November 2011 elections, I promised changes in 4 broad areas: education and youth development, improvement to our physical environment, infrastructural improvements, economic development through the engagement of small businesses. As you move around the community, our record of accomplishments is evident. I will outline our accomplishments along with our plans for continued progress in District 8 over the next 4 years. Firstly, I will speak about our educational infrastructure. It is the NDP's belief that a strong education system is the foundation for any great nation. That is why the NDP administration, through our Minister of Education, Honorable Marlon Penn, started along the path of creating a culture of excellence in education. After taking office, we met the educational infrastructure of our community in a state of disrepair. Specifically in the 8th District, the Willowilly Primary School, my alma mater, was left with unsanitary bathroom facilities, uncomfortable classrooms, and unfilled promise of a new staff room facility. In 3.5 years, that facility has been resurrected from its state of abandonment with remodeled restrooms and air-conditioned classrooms. A 40-year-old promise that was made to our teachers and students was honored with the construction of a brand new staff room for our teachers and students to enjoy. This is a promise made, a promise delivered. For you see, our NDP administration understands that education is the equalizer amongst all men. So in order for our teachers and students to operate at their full potential, we must create an environment that is conducive to teaching and learning. That's right. It is our intention to continue the improvements of common areas for our students and explore the possibilities for further upgrades and expansion of this facility. We will explore the deployment of modern tools for learning, such as smart boards and modern computer labs, so that our students could be exposed to modern teaching methods and be better equipped as they progress academically. Youth development. In my maiden political speech on July 7, 2011, I outlined 3 key areas of concern for the young people of our community and promised to work on them and address them. The high level of youth unemployment, the development of a skills academy, the reopening of the Greenland field and recreation and the creation of additional recreational facilities. For at that time, the development of our young people was and still is paramount on the mind of me and the members of the National Democratic Party. That is why, after taking office, we undertook several initiatives to assist with the development of our young people of our territory on both a national and local level. At the national level, initiatives such as the Youth Unemployment Services, or YES, was created. A program that for the first time had allowed us to determine the level of youth unemployment in this territory. In turn, we were able to identify contributing factors and effectively address those issues of youth employment. Our young people are now beginning to receive additional training and counseling necessary to prepare them for the world of work. Additionally, our NDP administration constructed our territory's new state-of-the-art technical school. This facility is a critical development tool in combating the issue of youth unemployment in our territory. In the short, medium, and long term, this facility will serve as a source of a skilled workforce with notable impacts on our construction and tourism industries. This will in turn slow our territory's dependence on imported labor for these two key economic industries. At a local level, we adopted a plan first presented by former legislator Vernon E. Malone. I like to give credit where credit is due. Where we informally asked our local petty contractors to employ at least 2 young persons to help with the development of their skills in the construction field. Many contractors agreed, and some of our young people are still working in this industry some 3.5 years later. From my perspective, another critical area of concern as it relates to our youths was the absence of a functional recreational facility. After taking office, we met the Greenland field in a state of utter disrepair. The field was out of operation for over 3 years, even after the previous administration had spent over $500,000 on that facility. All we met was a mountain of, you remember this, Myron? All we met was a mountain of dirt, some stinger nettle tree, after spending $500,000. And after 7 short months of this government taking office, that facility was restored for the people of the 7 and 8 district and the Greater Virgin Islands. This facility is now the most heavily utilized facility in the entire territory. In addition to the reopening of the Greenland field, we are breaking ground on a new multipurpose sport facility in Greenland through our partnership with the BVI Football Association. I heard some grumbling about that facility, but we'll deal with that another time. Another fine example of a promise made, a promise delivered. Our physical infrastructure. The condition of our physical environment was the most disheartening thing for me after I took office, as it represents an image not befitting of the people of District 8. Our roads were in a state of disrepair, garbage everywhere, raw sewage running the streets of Greenland, Trailers Bay was turned into a dump site, Wild Bush had taken over our community, and Railway Dock was a disaster waiting to happen. That's right. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a picture to prove all of these things I just spoke about. But in just 3.5 short years, our community has been transformed to a community on the rise. We now have an improved drainage system, new water infrastructure, and a newly paved road from the bridge to Parham Town. And plans are in place to continue these improvements from Parham Town to Long Swamp. We also recently installed a new force main sewage line from Chapel Hill to Parham Town, and installed feeder lines from Parham Town to Major Bay, which will continue to Long Swamp as well. And after 20 plus years, running sewage on the streets of Greenland is now a thing of the past. Now this is what progress and commitment looks like. That's right. These songs, like more promises, we made them and we kept our promises. Trailers Bay and Beef Island have both been transformed from dump site to enhanced areas we can all be proud of. We regularly maintain parking areas and roadway, all as well as a covered waiting area for tourists and commuters to our sister islands. And that is what real partnership is about. My colleague and I from the 7th District ensured that that happened. It is our vision to continue the upkeep of the Trailers Bay area with the addition of a welcome center with the opportunity for commercial spaces for our local entrepreneurs. Yes. Just 3.5 years ago in Parham Town, I stood before you as I do tonight, and I promise to transform Red Bay. From a picture on that plyboard that's still hanging there, to what we are standing on this evening, ladies and gentlemen. My people of District 8 and the rest of the Virgin Islands, take a look around. Look at this. This is what real progress looks like. A promise made, a promise delivered. I remind you this evening of my previously outlined 4-point strategy to unleash the sleeping economic giant that is the fishing industry, a global $80 billion a year industry. Tonight, we are standing on what I consider to be a critical component of our strategy to make fishing our next economic pillar. The opportunity is ripe to strengthen our traditional fishing methods, like pot fishing and line fishing, by exposing our fishermen to new technologies. I, along with the rest of the NDP team, will develop a roadmap to venture into other areas, such as long lining, fish farming, and sports fishing. We must expose our current and prospective fishermen to these new opportunities. In addition, plans are already afoot to ensure that the proper laws and policies are in place and enforced in order to protect against overfishing and illegal fishing within our waters. We'll use modern technology like GPS and other methods to better protect our banks and police our waters. Our fishermen must come together and form a co-op between themselves and the government in order to capitalize on the revolution that is about to happen in this sector. In this new relationship, government will assist with establishing a local and external demand for our fish products, among other things. While my vision for a new fishing industry is clear, I see other spin-off opportunities from this facility here at Red Bay once fully completed. I also envision an opportunity for a twin fishing and farmers market where there is a supply of fresh fish and fresh produce. I also envision Red Bay as a potential port of entry, as the 7 and 8 district combined represents 10,000 residents with tremendous potential in the maritime space. I see an opportunity for local charter boats and ferry operators embarking and disembarking with busloads of tourists who are picked up from the newly built cruise pier. I see these tourists visiting our heritage tourism sites in District 7 and District 8 and subsequently leaving Red Bay for a tour of our sister islands. I see economic empowerment for my people, new opportunities, and continued progress for District 8. Once this facility and the waterfront is completed, the opportunities are only limited. Once this facility and the waterfront is completed, the opportunities are only limited to the extent of our imagination. At this time, I would like to make one thing clear. Upon completion of this facility, I will ensure that a proper management structure and guidelines are implemented for its use, and sound maintenance practices, thus ensure that it remains for the enjoyment and benefit of the next generation of Virgin Islanders. Residents and voters of District 8, this is a basic overview of the accomplishment that my team and I have delivered to this community to date, and just a few of our plans for the future. Residents and voters of District 8, do you know, despite all these accomplishments that I've outlined for you this evening, there are still those persons who have the nerve and the gall, the audacity. What other word? Give me another one. To walk up and down this community saying we have done nothing. You can imagine that? Can you imagine that?
That makes sense?
That makes sense. That makes sense? That makes sense, man?
That makes no sense.
According to my colleague, the Honorable Mark Vanterpool, we seem to have some modern day Rip Van Winkles living amongst us. We all know the story of Rip Van, I even can't pronounce the name. Rip Van Winkle. A gentleman who slept for over 20 years, woke up, and he found everything around him had changed. And he was still living 20 years earlier. The only difference with this Rip Van Winkle and the ones that we have in District 8 is that they only slept for 3.5 years. They are now awake just before election, spreading all sort of propaganda about me and my colleague on Team NDP. It seems like they believe the people of District 8, you people, the good people of District 8, and as a matter of fact, the people of this entire territory were fast asleep along with them.
No, sir. We wide awake.
And are unable to see the country's progress for themselves. Some are so blinded by party politics that they refuse to see the progress and transformation our communities have taken. But in the words of Harry S. Truman, America's 33rd president, and I quote, "It's amazing what you can accomplish if you do not care who gets the credit." And I repeat, it's amazing what you can accomplish if you do not care who gets the credit. That's a statement that I stand by. For the reality is, I never got into politics for personal adoration or to have an inflated ego. Those who know me know that.
That's right.
I got involved to truly make a difference. To make a difference in the lives of the people that live in my community and the wider Virgin Islands. So, they can take the credit. For all I'm concerned about is improving the lives of the citizens of my community and the lives of their families. I refuse to waste time this election cycle getting into any frivolous discussions.
Come on, sir. Stay focused.
For we all know, action speaks. All right. Promises made? That's what I'm talking about. So in the words of one of my generation's greatest philosophers and poets, Mr. Sean Carter, for those of you who don't know, Jay-Z, I'm focused, man. I'm focused on building the water and sewage road infrastructure for my community.
Go on.
For an improved quality of life for all of us.
Go on.
I'm focused on improving our schools so that our children have an environment that is conducive to learning and they can become productive citizens of our society. I'm focused on creating an environment where our small businesses and would-be entrepreneurs can thrive. I am focused on the continued exploration of utilizing our districts as a port of entry and fishermen's training ground for this community. And District 8, my people, I am focused on the bright future we have working together.
Together. Talking good.
In continued efforts to advance the established steady pace of progress in our community.
Yes.
District 8, again, I thank you for your continued prayers and support that has undergirded me for the past 3.5 years. I sincerely thank you for granting me the opportunity to be your humble, and I do sincerely mean this, your humble servant as I look forward to serving you in the years ahead. So on election day, on Monday, June 8, 2015, I urge you, District 8, to continue to support me and the entire team I just outlined earlier tonight. Because the reality is, the works that we accomplished in this district was done by the entire team, not just me.
Yes, you're talking good now. Talking good.
And for us to continue to do big, great, and better things, we all have to go back together to continue the work that we started. So I end off here tonight and just say, God bless you, God bless these beautiful virginals and have a wonderful evening.